is it? Do you look at these massive changes that are going to impact society in the terms of years rather than decades at this moment in time?
I think we could get a human level AGI in 2 or 3 years from now. I mean, yeah, I don't I don't rule out it could happen this year, like Dario Amadai or Elon have at various points said, because as the ability of AI to generate code gets better and better, the software development process speeds up. But right now, AI can't do software engineering, really. You can generate little bits of code. Like vibe coding is a thing. Vibe engineering barely semi works. So, I mean, so if we don't get some revolution in AI helping to speed up AI development, it will be unlikely to happen this year. But yeah, could it happen 2 or 3 years from now? We get a breakthrough to AGI. Seems very plausible to me. Of course, once I get a human level AGI running on my server farm or my decentralized AI network, that doesn't immediately overtake the world economy within 5 minutes, right? I mean, there's still a bunch of practical work needed for a human level AGI to turn itself into a human level AGI global infrastructure. But again, that feels like itself a couple of years of transition or something, not decades of transition, right? Like you think, okay, the AGI thinks about how to make a better robot, but still maybe it needs a better factory for that. So it thinks about how to make a better factory. So it thinks about how to make a better robot to build that better factory. But even with all the AGI mind there, I mean, there's a bunch of physical stuff to be done, right? So, I mean, there
Yeah.
is some friction in a super AI transforming the whole world economy, but that could plausibly be just a couple more years after you have the initial human level AGI there. And again, when you see how good AIs already are at math and programming, it's pretty clear a human level AGI will be able to rewrite its code into a superhuman level AGI, not
Right.
two
Right.
years
So
after
that's
it achieves human level general intelligence. So I mean, I think we plausibly are like 2, 5, 7 years away from like full on revolutionizing of everything, which indeed is kind of an instant in the history
yeah.
of the whole species. But yet, from the standpoint of my life, what happens during those 5 years means something to me. Like even at age 59, 5 years is still a while, right?
We're basically giving the control of our future to a machine, and like it seems like a precarious situation to be in. But then again, there's lots of
Well,
arguments.
you have the U.S. government now saying the definition of a responsible AI is one that will help us wage war against our enemies. And I mean, this was Pete Hegseth a couple of days ago here in the U.S. Is this the mindset that you want the Singularity launching AGI to have? It's not the one that I want the Singularity launching AGI to have. Opinions may differ, right?
Yeah. Well, here, look, in terms of decentralized AI, decentralized ASI, hopefully decentralized AI marketplaces. Can we talk about ASI Alliance, the FET token? Like,
Yeah,
where does where does that fit in to this whole discussion?
to get to get a beneficial to get a beneficial AGI with the highest odds, there's a few pretty obvious things you want to do. I mean, you want to build an AGI with an architecture that allows moral agency, like an architecture where the AI understands who and what it is, understands who and what you are, and is architected to have compassion toward you. I mean, this is not what LLMs are now doing. They're just architected to say they have compassion toward you, but they have no actual understanding or emotion or empathy or whatever. So you want an architecture that's able to be a moral agent. You want to raise up this system doing mostly beneficial things, helping people, like doing education, doing healthcare, helping with mental health issues, and for sure, helping people do their jobs better is good too. Helping sell people junk they don't need or kill people probably isn't the main thing you want your AGI to be doing while it grows up. But the other thing is, yeah, you would like the ownership and control of the AGI system not to be pathological, right? You would like it to be owned and controlled by a significant swath of the species that is creating it and that stands to benefit from it or otherwise. And that comes down to decentralized ownership and control. And I think Linux is a good model there. The internet itself is a good model there. Like the internet analytics are resources that are owned and controlled by everyone and no one, and they're developed in a lot of directions by a lot of different parties, and they work, and they're more safe and secure than most centralized and proprietary things, right? So you want AGI to be rolled out like spiritually in the vein of Linux or the internet rather than closed proprietary systems. And this is a little more complicated than merely building an internet or an operating system, because you made this live, ever changing, ever evolving system to be decentralized in its deployment and operation, not just its source code. And that's what we're building in Singularity and ASI Alliance, right? So we built a decentralized AI platform called Singularity Net. Our partners Fetch built their own Fetch AI decentralized platform. We've learned a lot from these. We're now building something new and better called the ASI chain, which is, I believe, a decentralized AI platform suitable to serve for AGI and superintelligence. So it's like one layer of the architecture. You got the internet, then you have the ASI chain, then you need AI systems running on top of it, which can be neural nets. It can be a framework I have called OpenCog Hyperon that we're building within Singularity Net. Then on top of that AGI platform, Hyperon, which runs on the ASI chain, which runs on the internet, then you need various applications, right? And so we're trying to build a whole open, decentralized tech stack so that we can have the Singularity launched in a way that's not locked inside the proprietary data center of some big company in some particular country.
Well, talking about those centralized data centers and the, I suppose the Mag 7 companies or the NVIDIA and other different big companies that are rolling out new chips, new hardware, and then there's the software companies like OpenAI and things like that. Now, since late 2022, there's been a lot of investment in AI. It's just exploded. But sort of famous investors like Michael Burry are reportedly shorting NVIDIA on these bubble concerns. Do you think there is an AI bubble at the moment? Do you think it's kind of like teetering on into like precarious zone?
I mean, I think LLMs have been overhyped a bit, and NVIDIA has been overhyped a bit in the sense that their chips aren't really that much better than AMD or than Samsung or everybody else's. So, I mean, there's some overhyping of particular technologies. On the other hand, I think AI is going to keep going exponentially. And if you go back to Ray Kurzweil's book, The Singularity is Near, that he published in 2005, the same year I published the first book on AGI. One point that Ray makes is that the exponential curve of rapid growth, when you zoom in, it's a bunch of sort of S curves layered on top of each other. So
Okay.
any one technology is slow to start, zooms up for a while, then plateaus. But then another technology zooms up for a while and then plateaus. Right? And so I mean, you see that in every technology domain. I mean, yes, LLMs have zoomed up for a while. They may be plateauing, but then some other AI technology will zoom up for a while until that plateaus, and some other one will zoom up for a while. What I'm working on is my own guess at what will be the next thing that zooms up and then plateaus in the Hyperon project. But what Jan Kuhn is working on is his world modeling thing. He thinks will zoom up and then plateau. The decentralized AI platform is sort of agnostic to what is the AI technology, right? So we can run LLMs on there. We can run my Hyperon system on there. We could run Jan's world modeling thing on the same decentralized platform. So yeah, I mean, in terms of what to invest in, I mean, I'm not going to opine on whether NVIDIA is overvalued or not, but I would say that compute hardware for AI on the whole is going to keep getting more and more and more valuable.
And sorry, just could you really, to the total layperson, me basically, could you explain the Hyperon system? Is there a few sentences that you could just describe how it differs from
Sure. I mean, so there's something called a formal neural network, which began as a very crude approximation of how the brain works. And that underlies ChatGPT and all the big AI systems out there now. but it's not the only way to do things. So what we do in Hyperon, we don't really try to model the brain at that level. We have a different sort of dynamic knowledge graph living in memory, which has different items of knowledge sort of linked to each other in a variety of different ways that don't all have to resemble how the brain works. We have this big knowledge graph of different knowledge items connected to each other, living in RAM on the machine and across many machines. This knowledge graph like revises and improves itself. It can run formal neural nets like the one under ChatGPT. It can also run like logic engines that try to prove things by formal logic. It can also run evolution engines. So we don't take a whole bunch of different AI methods. We put them in this one big in-RAM knowledge graph, and we let it kind of self-organize itself to achieve its goals.
Okay.
And we just in the last few months, we finally got this infrastructure working at large scale after multiple years of work. So we're now in a phase of like trying to scale up all our different AGI algorithms to run in lots of RAM with a bunch of machines. So sort of like happened in LLMs, like between GPT-2 and GPT-3, they were just scaling things up a lot. So we're in that phase now. We're scaling up these different AI mechanisms.
Are we going to see a launch? Are we going to how would people use this and when?
So this is open source code. Many of the components are there, but they're sort of back end components. And so it's more like Linux or something. There's many flavors of Linux. There's a lot of back end tools, but then you have launch of a particular Linux version or something, right? So yeah, we will be launching a series of products based on Hyperon. For example, there's a product called Questor we're working on, which is a research assistant and a personal assistant. So we will launch the first version of that product, I think, sometime later this year, and that runs on Hyperon and ASI chain on the back end. Now, we also have a little robot called the Mind Child. There's a company called Mind Children, which spun off from Singularity, and that little robot will also use Hyperon on the back end inside its own mind. So Hyperon is sort of a back end AI technology, and then there will be a series of products leveraging it running on Hyperon, which itself runs on the ASI chain decentralized stack.
Okay.